By the time I was 6, I could pray the beginning of each one of their prayers. Because each one of them had a way of introducing themselves to God before they went into what it was that they were going to pray for. 6 years of age. I could go with each one of them at the beginning. Why? Because they showed up, they stood up, and they prayed up. Amen. 2 or 3 years ago, I'm leading a spiritual retreat. And it's the Saturday morning. I've done my Friday night presentation. It's the Saturday morning, and I'm standing before men, and I'm standing before the persons. They weren't just men. And I couldn't get that image out of my mind, and yet I couldn't see what it had to do with what I was going to be doing at that time. And I've learned over the period of time that whenever the Spirit does me that way, just acknowledge what is going on. And so I told them that story and went on with my presentation. And when the break time came, the pastor of the church came to me and said, "George, I know why you told that story based upon what you did. I still have not gotten it." I said, "Why?" He said, "That's where you found your voice. Your voice did not come from PhDs. Your faith did not come from PhDs. Your faith came from people who showed up, stood up, prayed up."
Amen.
None of us have any control about the family to which we were born, nor the conditions under which we were born. None of us have any control about that. None of us were able to say to God, "I want to make a special reservation, and I want to be a child of so-and-so, so-and-so." We had to take what was given to us. And nobody has got to apologize for who you are or the circumstances of your birth. And no one needs to ever apologize for being who you are if you know Jesus Christ. You see, I have wrestled all of these years for not feeling like I somehow or another measured up to what society said that what needed to be. But as I've gotten older, I realize more and more that there are so many sermons I'm seeing all of the time that people are passing along that have nothing to do with degrees, but have everything to do with being faithful. I got to do something now that my seminary professor said to us in class one day. A sermon is not a sermon until it's preached. And you can do whatever you want to do in preparing for it, but it's not a sermon until it's preached to the folks. Robert, help your daddy to come to that first chair. Just sit him down. And will you do me a favor, Robert? Will you take that second chair? You take that second chair behind it. Young man, you come here now. Yes, sir, you. You take that third chair. I'm sitting in here, listening to, or preparing to listen to the previous speaker. This young man, no, we had just heard it. This young man comes to me and says, I have something I want to share. Would you mind if I did it after you finish? And I'm saying, Lord, I got called out in the lunchroom. I'm getting called out here. And because I went back to the room after the lunchroom experience, and I went on the internet and I found this poem, and the previous speaker I felt like God said, this is why I'm asking you to do it. You're familiar with this. Let me read it to you. Sermons we see. I'd rather see a sermon than hear one in a day. I'd rather one would walk with me than merely tell the way. The eye's a better pupil and more willing than the ear. Fine counsel is confusing, but examples always clear. The best of all the preachers are the men who live their creed. For to see good put into action is what everyone needs. I can soon learn how to do it if you let me see it done. I can catch your hands in action, but your tongue too fast may run. And the lecture you deliver may be very wise and true, but I'd rather get my lesson by observing what you do. While I may misunderstand you in the high advice you give, but there is no misunderstanding how you act and how you live. When I see an act of kindness, I'm eager to be kind. When a weaker brother stumbles and a strong stays behind, just to see if I can help him, then the wish grows strong in me to be as big and thoughtful as I know that friend to be. And all travelers can witness that the best of guides today is not the one that tells them, but the one that shows the way. Catch his left hand. Catch your father's shoulder.